Yo people, welcome back to Run Tech Hub, and today I'm going to be looking at Zorin OS 18 Pro. I reached out to the people over at Zorin OS. I told them, listen, I'm poor, I love your software, can you please send me a key so I can do a proper review of it, because I've only been using the core version so far. They said yes, less than 12 hours later, sent me the key, and that's what I'm going to show you guys now. So let's go. First things first, if you want to get to Zorin OS, you simply go to Google or whatever search engine you're using, type in Zorin OS 18. That's what I typed in here. I'm going to go to the very first link that says download Zorin OS, because I already have a key. But if you want to purchase it in the UK for $47.99, this is what you would have to do. So you would simply go onto the page. You do have Zorin OS Pro, you have Zorin OS Core, and Zorin OS Education as well. I would click on download Zorin OS Pro. It's going to take you to another page where you have to sign up. I'm not going to do this because I already have a key. If you need to sign up, if you want to sign up, this is where you would do it. I'm going to put the link for the main website in the description so you can go directly there, click on this link and do what you need to do. The Zorin OS team did not ask me to say anything positive. They have no idea what I'm going to say in this video. This is the email I got from them. Very simple. They said simply enjoy it and thank you for sharing it. That's it, nothing else. So this is the email I got from Zorin OS after them sending me the key. The key is below this, so I'm not going to show the key in the video, but I'm going to go to where it says download Zorin OS 18 Pro. I'm going to click on that. Make sure you block this as well. Make sure you block this as well. This has my key somewhere. I'm then going to go ahead and click on download here. My ISO is downloading. That shouldn't take too long on my connection. It says 4 minutes. This is a total of 7.6 gigabytes. There's a lot of pre-installed software here. So while that's downloading, I'm going to go back to their main website and just show you some of the features that they say is in here. It says it has 8 premium desktop layouts, including macOS, Windows 11 and Classic, Chrome OS and more. Professional grade creative suite of apps. Now I do have to preface this by saying the apps that they have installed on here, pre-installed on here, are all free apps. There's nothing you have to pay for. However, the fact that they've already done all the compilation for some of the apps, I know that for example, Ardour is a digital audio workstation that you have to either compile yourself or pay them to use. They've bolted it into here as well. They have professional grade creative suite of apps. I do have to preface this by saying everything in here is completely free, but they've given you a really nice bundle so you can go in and use all the software that comes with this. Advanced productivity tools bundled with alternatives to over $5,000 of professional software. What this means is that if you look at the alternatives to the software that they give you, for example, Reason is a music making software, but on here instead they have Ardour. There's Photoshop from Adobe. On here they have stuff like GIMP and Inkscape. If you bundle all of those paid apps together, you come to roughly £5,000. You can also get technical support for installing Zorin OS. There are a few more benefits to having Zorin OS 18, mainly again the apps that you have installed, and I think they do have email support as well. And on the website again, they've given some more comparison features between the Pro version, the Core version, and the Education version. Core and Education are more or less the same thing, but the educational version will have more education apps installed. My download has finished, so what I'm going to do is open my file manager here, and by the way, I'm using Zorin OS Core on this PC. What I'm going to do is install Zorin OS Pro on another PC with exactly the same specs. I'm going to go to my downloads folder and I'm going to copy this onto my memory stick. And again, for anyone who's not sure, I'm using Ventoy. So that's V for Victor, Ventoy. Ventoy is a free tool that allows you to have as many operating systems on a single memory stick as you want. So again, I've gone to my downloads folder. I've clicked on that. I'm going to copy it by doing Control C to copy. I'm going to go to my Ventoy folder. And on here, as you can see, I've got all these different operating systems. I'm going to paste Zorin OS 18 Pro here. Wait for it to finish. This is a PC I'm going to install Zorin OS onto. So what I need to do first is to plug this memory stick into my PC. What you guys will need to do, you need to figure out the boot key for your PC. And once you plug that in and turn it on, you need to spam the boot key. My boot key, this is a Dell PC. So my boot key is going to be either F10 or F12. I never remember which one it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press both of them. So I'm going to turn my power on. I'm going to just press both of them. Just keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing until I get something on screen. There we go. That tells me my system is booting into my boot menu and I can go ahead and install stuff from this memory stick. The first thing I want to do, I want to go to BIOS setup, and what this is going to allow me to do, this is going to allow me to change or remove secure boot from my system. Anyone coming from Windows is most likely going to have secure boot enabled. So what you need to do is figure out how to get to your BIOS, click on secure boot. I'm going to click on mine here. Mine is already off, so I don't need to do this. I'm just showing you the steps that you need to follow. If yours says enabled or active, or if it's turned on, just simply turn it off, click apply, then click OK, restart your system. So just pretend I've done that now. I'm going to restart my system. You can press and hold the power button. I'm going to click on exit, and again my system is rebooting, so I'm going to press F10 and F12 just to boot back into that same menu again. Just keep pressing it until something comes up on screen. There we go, good to go again. This time I'm going to go to where it says UEFI USB. Sometimes you might see something that says legacy boot, but I'm going to go to UEFI USB. I'm going to click on that. For me, this is going to boot me straight into Ventoy, that free tool I mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom because Zorin OS 18 starts with a Z or a Z. So I'm going to scroll down, find Zorin OS 18 Pro. Here we go, 64-bit. I'm going to press enter on that. I'm going to choose to boot in normal mode. So again, you use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move up and down. The mouse won't work at this stage, so I'm going to use my up and down arrow keys. I'm going to go to where it says boot in normal mode, press enter on that one. Then from here, I'm going to go to try or install Zorin OS. I'm going to use the first one. If that doesn't work, try the second one. If that doesn't work, try the third one. But one of these should work. If it's not working for you, you can always email the Zorin OS team. They will give you some help. I'm going to scroll up to where it says try or install Zorin OS. Click on that. I can try Zorin OS, which means that I can leave my memory stick plugged in and I can use almost every feature of the operating system. I can see if it looks okay. I can test the Wi-Fi. I can try the internet, and I can go ahead and see if everything works fine for me. But because I know everything is going to work fine, I'm going to go to where it says install Zorin OS. So what I would suggest everyone do is before you go ahead and pay for it, try Zorin OS Core, the free one. You can always pay for the upgrade once you have Core, and you can install all of those apps afterwards as well. So just try it, make sure it works, and then you go ahead and buy the full version. So I'm going to go to where it says install Zorin OS. I'm going to choose obviously UK here. I have an Ethernet cable plugged in, so I'm not going to connect to any Wi-Fi networks at the moment. However, you can simply choose your Wi-Fi network from the list, type your password in and choose connect, but I'm going to go to continue instead. I don't want to connect to any Wi-Fi. This is something that's new to this version. So what I can do here, I can choose normal installation or minimal installation. Minimal is going to give you just the basic stuff. You don't get anything extra. The normal installation, as you can see here, gives you the Creative Suite, advanced productivity software, utilities, and premium desktop layouts. That's the one I want to try because I want to see what the extra features are. Under that, there's a section called download updates while installing Zorin OS. I would highly recommend this. So while it's installing the operating system, it will go to the internet, get all the new things that need to be installed and install it alongside it, so you don't have to go back and install updates at the very end. I would leave that on, and I'm going to also install third-party software for graphics, Wi-Fi. Just leave that on and everything should work okay. I'm going to click continue. From here, I'm going to choose to erase disk and install Zorin OS. If at this stage you haven't actually backed up all your files and your folders, your pictures, everything, I would stop the installation here, cancel everything, go back, log back into your PC normally, and back everything up, because after this step, you're going to lose everything. I would always recommend to erase the disk and install Zorin OS, because what will happen is you can have an installation of Windows and Zorin OS, and what will happen is every time you turn your computer on, you will have to choose between Windows and Zorin OS. It does work, but I find that after a few Windows updates, stuff just starts to break and it just doesn't work properly after a while. But initially, it will work perfectly fine. And on this stage, I need to choose the drive I want to install the Zorin OS to. At this point, you should only, for most people, have 2 drives on your PC. I've got a 240GB SSD inside my PC, and I have a 250GB memory stick as well. So that's a USB memory stick that Zorin OS is on. I need to install Zorin OS to my SSD inside my PC, so I'm going to choose that first one. For most people, it should say SDA beside it for the first drive, which is normally the internal drive, the one that's inside the PC, and SDB is going to be the second drive, the one that's the memory stick or the hard drive that you're installing from. So I'm going to click on the first one, go to install now, click on continue here. It's chosen London for me already, that's fine. And here you need to create a username and password. I'm going to leave mine as Runs Tech Hub, but obviously make whatever you want for yours. And I would always recommend to require my password to log in. Reason being, once you turn the computer on, it will skip all the password stuff and jump straight in. And that means that anyone that has access to your PC can see all your files and use your computer like it was you. I'm going to leave Active Directory unticked because I don't have a Windows domain set up yet. That is something I'm going to work on in the future. I'm going to set something up and show you guys exactly how to do it. So what this essentially means is that if I was in a school, I could use the same login I use on my Windows PC on this machine here and get all the same permissions and files and everything. I'm going to click continue. That's installing. Perfect. So my installation is now finished. I'm going to click on restart now, unplug the memory stick and boot into the system for the very first time. That took a very, very long time. I would say at least 3 to 4 times longer than it would normally take. But to be fair, it's installing loads of apps. and also getting loads of updates for each app. I need to remove the memory stick, and I'm going to press enter on my keyboard now to boot back into Zorin OS. Rebooted the system. This is going to be my first login. So enter my password, logged in. This is the boot screen that you get. You can take a tour if you want, but I'm not going to do a tour. I'm just going to go around the system myself. So I'm going to click on no thanks. On the bottom left, we have the start menu, or the Zorin icon there. Once you click on it, you have a traditional Windows start menu. What you can do from here is go see everything that you have installed. To the right of that, we have the Brave web browser. I'm not going to be using this browser. I'm going to be using something like Chrome or Chromium. To the right of that, we have files, and finally we have software. Software is where you would go to get all your updates. Files is just a typical files manager. Click on it. Here we have home, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, and rubbish bin. I'm going to try and give a quick overview of the software installed so you can understand how these are free alternatives of paid software. For example, we have Blender here at the top, and Blender is used for 3D modeling, animation, and video editing. It's actually really good software. We have Darktable, which is the Adobe Lightroom alternative. We have Inkscape, which is the Adobe Illustrator and Affinity Design alternative. Krita is the Adobe Photoshop and Affinity Photo alternative. We have VLC Player here. So anyone coming from Windows, you probably are used to Windows Media Player. VLC Player or VLC Media Player is far superior. Every single video format I've ever given this piece of software, it's played it completely fine. Audacity is also free. That's an audio recording program. Kdenlive is a free video editor. So this is like a Premiere Pro alternative. There's also DaVinci Resolve that would work perfectly fine on this, but Kdenlive is the one that came installed. OBS Studio, that's the software I'm using right now to screen record, and it is completely free. It's wonderful software. And to be fair, I think this is probably the leading screen recording software for most people. We have Ardour. Now Ardour is quite impressive. This is a free DAW. So that's a digital audio workstation, and it's the alternative to stuff like Fruity Loops, Reason. It's really good. I've never actually managed to compile it myself, but the fact that I have this now, I can finally try it out. Scribus is the free Microsoft Publisher alternative, and Microsoft Publisher, I believe as of 2025 or 2026, is going to be discontinued. So you might as well start looking at something like this. I know there are online tools like Canva that are really good, but if you want something that's offline, then this is a good example. I don't know how to pronounce this one, but this is Zournal, Xournal. This is a free Microsoft OneNote alternative. We have FreeCAD and LibreCAD, and the alternatives would be SolidWorks and AutoCAD. And finally, we have VirtualBox, which is a free alternative to any virtualization software, to be fair. And what you can do with this is you can install other operating systems inside of your operating system. So what I could do, I could open this and I could install macOS, I could install Windows, I could install Android on my system to do other things if I needed to. I think Zorin OS is aimed at creators, professionals, and power users. Now, don't get me wrong. I think if you're transitioning into Linux, this is a really good starting point. And for £47.99, you get updates until 2029. You get all this free software pre-installed, which you can uninstall if you don't want it. However, if you're someone who's trying to be like a content creator, trying to just make music, trying to do videos, this is a really good starting point. You don't need to go and test anything out to see if it works. Everything that's in its operating system, if you have the right hardware, should just work perfectly fine. I used to be a Ubuntu fan, then I transitioned to Mint, and after that I transitioned to Elementary OS, and I feel like Zorin OS is where my concentration is now because it's super lightweight. It gives me everything I need in a nice, simple, good-looking package. I don't think many other companies do it better than Zorin OS. It does almost everything correct for me. I would say the only possible improvement for me is having a pre-installed list of software. What I mean by that is when I start installing this for the very first time, if I'm connected to the internet, what I would like to see is, let's say, the 10 most or the 10 best curated softwares based on the category. So for example, there should be a section for Office apps, and you should have LibreOffice, OpenOffice, OnlyOffice, Calligra Suite, Scribus, and WPS Office. And what this should do, this should simply allow me to tick the ones I want. So that way I can have the Office suite I personally like and want to use as soon as I start my system up. Another one could be, for example, development or programming. I could have PyCharm, CLion, VS Code, IntelliJ, Android Studio, Atom. As good as this is, I really do like it. And this is honestly my daily driver when I'm doing anything away from my Windows PC. But I would just like that option when installing stuff for me to choose the stuff that I want to install. But I do get why they've gone with their own stuff. It just makes things really simple. They're trying to simplify the entry point into this massive ecosystem that is Linux. And I think they've done a really good job. I'm going to do some more videos on this. I don't know what the next videos are going to be just yet. But for anyone transitioning from Windows 10, they don't want to go to Windows 11, you can go Zorin OS Core, which is completely free. You can go Zorin OS Education, which gives you special education apps. That's completely free as well. If you wanted to try something, I would say a bit bit more premium with more apps installed that you don't have to go look for stuff and test stuff and try stuff. Zorin OS 18 Pro is a really good price point of £49 and you get updates again until 2029. So that's 4 years of updates. You can decide to stop the update. This will just keep working. There's no tracking unless you opt into stuff. So you have to opt into something for them to be able to track you. Really clean, really simple interface. The store is really simple and really nice. For example, if I wanted to go and install, let's say Chrome, I would simply open my software center, which is open on my screen now. I click on search, then I will type in Chrome, Chrome. It finds everything that has the word Chrome in it, and I can choose to install the Chrome browser, the unstable one, or the Chromium web browser. So for people worrying that you have to go to the terminal and you have to do sudo apt-get and install stuff from there and you don't really know how to do that and it looks very intimidating, you don't have to interact with the terminal. You can do every single thing you need to. You can install everything you need from the App Store. You can interact with the system with a file manager. You can have a web browser to do everything you need. You don't need to interact with the terminal. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. There's more stuff incoming, but I have no idea what it is yet.